Bioshock Infinite is the third game in a series that involves shooting and using weird, unique powers. When I played it for the first time, I deeply enjoyed myself. However, I wanted to have a reason to return to the world of Columbia. So I thought, hey, how can I make a return trip more interesting? So, this video was born. Can you beat Bioshock Infinite without using guns? When I loaded it into the game, I remapped my controls so that the firing and melee buttons were switched. Thus, I started the game on hard mode. Starting the game, I saw the twins once more, found out I had to get the girl to wipe away the debt, got a gun that I'll never use, lost a gun that I'll never use, and proceed to Columbia.
Hallelujah.
There, I met a man who told me that I needed a bath before entering the city. Having too much fun, I passed out. I then woke up, choosing violence. I sprinted to a carnival that serves as a combat tutorial without the combat. I played the 1 minute game that I could play since all the others involved guns. I then walked over to see the handyman. He would definitely not become a problem for me later, at all. At all. After that, I got the ability to literally possess things. I went on to a strange raffle, pulled the number 77, and proceeded to win. What did I win? Why, first throw, of course. After making a choice, I was caught mark-handed, because my hand was marked. I then received my best friend for the entire game, the skyhook. AKA my tool for mass destruction. After showing them my moves, I got an upgrade that allows me to possess people. But before I did that, I possessed a gun. Now, after this point, I proceeded to play about 30 more minutes, only to think upon this action. If I possess a gun, or a person that has a gun, am I technically using that gun? In the end, I decided the answer is yes. So I restarted the game, got back here, and proceeded to not possess the gun. After a few more fights, I ran into the Human Torch. And obtained the ability that can annoy every DM and D&D party. Fireball. I then proceeded to Monument Island, where I got some important gear and upgrades. The most important thing of note is that my melee will now knock back enemies and will have a 70% chance to electrocute/stun them. After a few more fights, I interrupted a sermon with Fireball. After delivering deadly blows with a deadly deterrent device, I heard some news about my deadly deeds.
The anarchist maliciously wounded several Colombian peacemakers, before then arming himself and firing into an assemblage of virtuous fairgoers. As of this hour, he is...
They were obviously lying, as I have never used gun. After riding an elevator and admiring my own art, I ran into Birdman. Originally this fight would have been hard. However, as it turns out, he cannot withstand my paralyzing punches. I consumed drink to attain the power of the birds, and I switched out my electric personality with a hotter one. Also, what in the world? Okay. After getting a cinematic view and jump-scaring man, I saw that I had the ability to make textures disappear and reappear. Upon realizing this, I started to shake uncontrollably. I definitely wasn't shaking because I was bored during this cutscene. Nope, not at all. On my way to obtain the girl to wipe away the debt, I pushed a man off the edge and found an indestructible picture. I found Elizabeth, tried to punch a metal bird, and escape with Elizabeth. What happened next is one of the best cinematic experiences the game has given me. I mean, just look and listen to this. And if you don't want, just skip it. Just go here. With that, I took another bath that led me to passing out again. Waking up, I chose theft.
Where is she?
I channeled my inner Yogi Bear and stole some stuff from people's picnic baskets. After that, I got to take a stroll with Elizabeth.
Hello.
We got to walk along the beach, see propaganda, and saw a big mechanical thing that would definitely not come to life later. Nope, not at all. After time, we eventually found our way to a ticket seller who would hopefully give us tickets to a blimp ride. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end. Especially when you're knife-handed. That is to say, there was a knife in my hand. I showed some people the power of my left hook, taught Elizabeth that punching things will be a common theme in this timeline, and proceeded down to the gondola that would take me out of this area. Oh look, there's no power for the lift, and now I need to go on an hour-long fetch quest for a stupid power.
The future of power at the Hall of Heroes.
After running with the police, that definitely did not result in me dying. What are you talking about? I made my fireball more fiery and explosive. On my way to attain the power, I hopped on the elevator, in which Elizabeth proceeded to be annoyed with a bee. So, like every sane person, she opened a tear between alternate dimensions to get rid of it. A bit overkill if you ask me, but hey, it works. After being on the move for so long, I needed to go to the bathroom, only to accidentally run into some people with my fist. Then hey, Elizabeth, get out of the men's bathroom! As a punishment for scaring some people, I genuinely got jump scared by a turret. To solve my turret problem, I cast Fireball. Speaking of casting things, I obtained the ability Bucking Bronco, which makes other people float. Fun fact for the day, did you know that I'm a cool guy? Therefore, I do not look at explosions. After one death and one burn ran, I found a hidden stash of guns and ammo, but hey, more shield. Moreover, what I got is probably the most important piece of gear in this run. Melee kills will now give me health. After re-equipping my electric personality, I went for a little ride and found an RPG. Sad. Next came the part that I was dreading. The introduction to enemy snipers. Unfortunately, my fireball could not reach them, so only had one choice but to make a run for it. I said I had to make a run for it. I entered the Hall of Heroes, where the item that I needed is. After witnessing a lamp disappear before my eyes, I found the vigor that I needed was in the hands of a person named Slade. In order to get that vigor, I needed to give his men a soldier's death. That almost seems like a cop-out. I mean... Alright, so, the player needs to go through this area, but he needs to fight some people. Why should he fight some people? Well, they're older people. Oh, and he needs to give them a soldier's death. You get a raise. What am I doing? So, fighting broke out. In between the fights, I found another nice piece of gear. My melee range is now tripled. After those fights, we got a tutorial on how to use Elizabeth's tears in a battle. Here, I made the rule that I could not open any rifts that cause a turret or some gun-related thing to fire upon enemies. After another round of combat, I entered the room. No, not that room, this room. I remember what this place has in store for me. This mechanical giant is arguably the hardest enemy to face in a regular playthrough. Leading up to this point, I was thinking that I needed to do a tactic where I dive in for a hit and then, just hide. But, as it turns out, the stunning gear I have turns him into a punching bag. After one more round of fighting and one more punching bag, I run to Slate. Slate? Slate? I don't know. I run into Slate, who gives me the choice of killing him or sparing him. Now, I actually really did not have a choice here. In order to kill Slate, I had to use gun, but I can't use gun, so I spare him. Now equipped with, I made my way out of the Hall of Heroes. Now I took a small break from playing to write part of the script before, forgot everything that I've done. At that time, I made the decision to bench the shocking gear. It made the hardest enemies way too easy. I was making this video for it to be a challenge, so I'm gonna make it challenging. Starting the next recording session, I immediately switched the electric gear to the burning halo. After one fight outside of the Hall of Heroes, it was time to get back to the gondola that would take us to the blimp. Along the way, I took not one, but 2 RPGs to the face, found a can of beans, and unequipped the burning halo gear. This equipment did not break the game, unlike the shocking gear, but it made things a tiny bit easier. I do not want easy, I want hard. However, if I am having a bad time with the fight, I might reconsider equipping this burning halo again. After going for that hour-long fetch quest, you can imagine that they would just let me go on the way and just go to gondola and go on to the blimp that I need to get on. Of course not. However, in this fight, I made a miraculous discovery. If you cast Bucking Bronco on an enemy, and then use your extended melee range to hit them, the enemy will go flying. Then, I ran into a Patriot. This time, I did not have any special punching upgrades. So, let's see how this went. Nice. It gave me an actual challenge. After running into the men's bathroom again, I ran into the same guys. Oops. After what seemed like an eternity, I eventually reached the gondola. Wait, I can now use this railing and I can now use the rifts to create cover? I know where this is going, and I think you do too. Let's just skip to the part where I get ambushed. With that fight out of the way, it was finally time to get to the blimp. Along the ride, I made a work of art, but the wood started to heal itself. Ugh. Oh, how long were you staring at me? Anyway, after that, Elizabeth tried to block my way to the ship, and we headed on our way.
You alright?
I want to see Paris. I want to see everything.
It's up to you now. There's no one...
Wait, what is that? 40 north by 74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
And there's a fellow who... He offered to wipe away my debt in exchange for you. Everything's gonna be okay. Will you just turn around and talk to me and we can...
She hit me with a wrench. That is to say, she hit me with a melee attack. So while I was still in pain, I was still proud of her. Him, on the other hand, I was not. After meeting the Vox, they promised to give me back my airship if they got their guns. After being rudely shoved out, I upgraded my fireball and explored the docks. Hey look, equipment. Do you mind if I take a look here? Nah, that's something I would take. What the? Apparently, looking at another person's equipment is a crime that involves everyone wanting to kill you. After trying to make a run for it, I died. and found out that everyone is still aggroed on me. So I decided that I just did not want to deal with this. This time I peacefully made my way through the docks, only to have a chase scene that led to Elizabeth being captured. Here we go again. After being saved by Elizabeth, I told her about the deal with the Vox, and she agreed to a truce until we can get the ship back. After one upgrade, one fight, and 5 minutes of going in the wrong direction, I entered the game's commentary of how bad overworking people can be. This is something that a lot of game studios definitely should know about. I entered Fink's workshop. As I explored, I saw that there were police blockades blocking my path. Regardless, I started to explore and scrounge for money. However, on top of a roof, I took one step a little too far, and the entire police force knew where I was. Right. After the dock incident, I gave no thought to reloading a previous checkpoint. After re-scrounging for stuff, it was time to go see a guy about some guns.
Is anybody here?
What happened here?
Someone worked this place over. Local constabulary, no doubt.
Would you look at that? He's not here. But his wife is.
Mr. Lin not here. He gone.
Where did they take him?
Club. Everyone take to Good Time Club.
Great. A fetch quest within a fetch quest. Fine. Let's do this. I'm just gonna go out here. You've gotta be kidding me. After a game of hit and run, this handyman lost his handiness. After that pleasant interruption, it was time to actually go and get what I needed. Joke's on you. Nothing in this game is that simple. Entering events, it was time to go through a wave of enemies.
He's something of an old hand at handling explosives.
Explosions, you say?
Yes.
The first wave went without incident. Without incident. The second wave was just a birdman and some angry dudes. The third wave was a bit more difficult. I should probably get that health. In my head, I thought that what killed me were just some simple turrets. I was wrong. I had to take these guys out before I dealt with everything else. Electricity? Nope. Birds? Nope. Iron Patriot? Ow. Turns out the solution to my problem was Fireball. It took me several tries, and some help from Elizabeth, but eventually, with that out of the way, it was time. Wait, Elizabeth, what are you doing? Gosh, dang. I found a decoding book, which eventually led me to an infusion, some lockpicks, and a powerful gun. Sad. Now, it was really time to find Mr. Gunman, and oh look, he's dead. After getting a convoluted message from the twins, it is time to jump into an alternate world where Gunman would be alive. This would definitely not be a problem.
These men.
I killed them. They were dead.
Not in this world. Look at their noses. They're all bleeding.
I hate one of me. Who do I hate? You can't tell which one. To here, who is the I? Which one hates which?
Well, that's dark. Moving on. Who keeps a whole pineapple in their guitar case? I own a guitar. I am both impressed and disgusted that someone could do that. Anyways, after one fight, I went to the gunsmith shop to get gun.
The shrine. It's a figure of
That'll
concept
do.
now.
Who are you? You speak up. Speak up! Can't hear you over all these machines. Very loud.
What is wrong with him?
Remember him dead in that cell? Maybe in some way he remembers that too. How would you reconcile that?
I don't know.
They took Chen's tools. What's he got without his tools?
can work again. Maybe if he could work, he'd...
Of course. Fine. Let's do this. Well, look, more enemies to beat up. After that annoying fight, I saw it. The Vigor. This one ability would be my saving grace, but unfortunately, I could not get it now. Annoyed, I took the elevator to Shantytown. Before I continued on, I decided to take a pit stop at the local pub. Oh, look, Mana. Hey friend, could I just grab... Oh, okay, never mind.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky?
After that generally touching moment that definitely does not have any lore implications, it was time for violence. Now, this section was one of the parts that I was the most worried about. In order to move on, you need to destroy these massive machines. Usually, you would do this by using RPGs. Unfortunately, the only thing that could damage them now was Fireball. While this section is possible to go through without RPGs, it is still very difficult to do. While I did manage to take out the first of two machines, I was out of energy for the second one, and there was no mana potions left. In this game, when you die, you respawn with some of your health and with some mana back for your weird abilities. And considering there was no energy stuff around for me to get, I only had one choice. In order to regain energy, I had to die. However, what I gained was enough to take out the second machine.
Salts, catch!
Oh sure, Elizabeth, now you give me more energy. Well, now it's time to... wait. What was that noise? Pain. That's what that was. We finally made it to the place where the tools were located. However, this is Bioshock Infinite, and nothing is that simple. After telling the men to sit down with my fist, we made it to the tools.
What is that?
It looks like a tear to another version of this room that doesn't have any tools in it.
If the tools aren't in there,
Then they must be back
back at the shop.
Remember what happened last time we went to an alternate world? Surely only good things will happen. Only good things. As it turns out, in this reality, the Vox brings about a violent revolution. With all of that, it was time to get out of Shantytown. However, I was very excited. It is time. Now is the time for Melee 2.0. This new power allows me to do this. Now things were really hitting up. After a few fights, we needed to take down the Zeppelin to progress, as one naturally does. After riding a conveniently placed skyline, it was time to get down to business. After the deed had been done, I opened the door of progress, since it progressed me forward. Wait, did I just spawn in the air? Anyway, after one elevator ride up, I got a phone call.
Hello? Think?
Now the Vox were on my side, and I want to shoot me. After that, it was time to get a few upgrades. I upgrade the ability that make people float, so now that they'll stay up longer, and then I upgrade the charge ability so that I become temporarily invincible and my shield will recharge when I use it. Next, I got the Undertow Vigor. That allows me to push and pull people. It would see very use in this run, but it would have its use. Huh, weird. This game is actually letting me upgrade. That could probably only mean one thing. After that fight, it was time for Elizabeth to do another melee attack. Well, time to get out of here.
Aside.
Hello, twins.
But if you know how to sing to him,
He will take you where you need to go.
Comstock uses these songs. Are there others we can use? Something to keep the bird off our back?
perhaps you should ask the maestro himself.
So where is he? Of course.
Another fetch quest. Anyways, we need to get to the Comstock house because the person we need to find is definitely in there. Right? Right? After a quick bout, Elizabeth decided to block my way again. Okay, just pause right here. I'm gonna be honest, the way to Comstock house is just a whole bunch of fights and some exploration. So here are just some highlights.
Who's sneaking around? Who's there?
Finally, after a whole hour, we made it to Comstock house.
Lady Comstock, how lovely to see you. Wonderful of you to make the journey, especially considering your painful death 19 years ago.
Lady Comstock?
The dress. The thing has mistaken me for my mother.
Your fingerprints do not seem to be your own today, Lady Comstock.
I think it's time I paid my respects. Let's head to where she's buried.
Well, I guess we're grave robbing now.
You see, child, you chose to follow a false shepherd, and he has led you astray. What I do for love. What lion does not cringe to see their coven pain, but spare the rod, spoil the child. If you won't listen to me, perhaps you will listen to your mother.
Okay, wait, let me get this straight. So Comstock, the main antagonist of this game, used Elizabeth's powers to raise Lady Comstock from the grave, and now Lady Comstock is a ghost that can raise people from the dead. Huh? No matter. This ghost was no match for my left hook and fireball.
Alive or dead?
Why do you ask what?
When the delicious question is when.
The only
Oh no. The last time you guys showed up, I went on an hour-long journey.
you have need of her to enter Comstock House.
Frankly, she doesn't seem all that cooperative.
There is a way to bring her to reason.
3 truths you must discover first.
Truths which, in this world, Comstock has destroyed.
If only one of you had the power to alter time and space.
That would be a blessing, wouldn't it?
Okay, look. I really like this game. The story is fun, and the combat is pretty decent. But why is everything a fetch quest? I know that the development team wanted to do more with the game, and they had to cut back on some stuff. However, this just feels lazy. Sorry, I just needed to get that out of my system. Let's just skip to the part where I found all 3 tears. Don't worry, we didn't mention much. It was just all lore and a fight with the ghost lady again. We finally made it back to Comstock House with one final fight with Lady Comstock. This boss took a whole 35 seconds to beat.
Much obliged.
After Insane Ghost Lady turned into Semi-Sane Ghost Lady, she helped us out, not by using her fingerprints to unlock the door, but by ramming her face into the fence. Finally, it was time to go to Comstock House, and nothing was going to get on our...
Aside.
Gosh. Dang. It. After making a superhuman leap, I had to go and rescue Elizabeth. However, when I got to Comstock House, something was off.
It's July.
As I entered the place, I got my first glimpse at this dude. He is essentially the thing that turns this whole part of the game into a stealth mission. If he sees you, then all these guys will start attacking you. They all use melee attacks. Nice. Oh look, a locked area that I needed to go through. But first I need to go to an office to unlock the door? Who would have thought this would happen? Fight, 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 I get to the office.
Should be able to head downstairs and get to Elizabeth now.
Fight, 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 I can go through the locked door now. Finally, I found Elizabeth. However, this was not my Elizabeth. This Elizabeth brought me to this dimension in order to prevent this outcome. After giving me a paper that my Elizabeth would know how to read, I was teleported back to the previous alternate dimension I was in. It was time to truly save Elizabeth. She was hooked up to this machine right here. In order to turn it off, I need to flip 2 different levers. After flipping the first lever, there was a whole horde of enemies. Naturally, I thought I had to fight them off before I flipped the other lever. But as it turns out, if you just go and turn off the machine, all those enemies spontaneously die. Saving Elizabeth, it was time to end this. We needed to get aboard Comstock airship. Hijacking an airship, we slowly made our way to the Zeppelin. However, Comstock would not let us board without a fight.
Flagship.
Boarding the Zeppelin, we needed to go up. Nope, I'm out of here. Finally, we made our way to him.
And you abandoned her!
After bonking him on the head, Comstock was no longer an issue. However, there was one problem left standing. This tower. This tower was siphoning Elizabeth's powers. In order to get down to the bottom of some of the mysteries of the game, Elizabeth needed her full power. It was time to take the tower out. Take a good look at this place. This is the final fight. With Songbird on our side, we had the power to take down the tower. However, everyone wanted to stop us by destroying the generator for the ship. I had to protect it at all costs.
Booker, tell him where to go!
Attack that gunship!
Should I send it? Over there! The box!
We need this thing to make it to Monument Island!
no. Huh, that's kind of anticlimactic. However, I was so near the end now. I would not quit here.
Bert's ready.
Attack the Zeppelin!
Patriot! Assault's here! Here you go!
Perfect timing.
Put in Booker.
The Zeppelin.
Booker, don't die! Follow me!
Send him there!
Where should I send him? Think there's
Bring
more
down
of them.
that gunship! Gotta get a shot!
And with that final punch, the fight was over. I used Songbird to destroy the siphon, found out the secrets that this game holds, and took one final bath. So, that is how I beat Bioshock Infinite, without using guns. Okay, post credits. Hi, how you doing? If you made it to the end, hey, I'm glad you watched through all of it. My channel's small, so hey, thanks. I'll be honest, this challenge was surprisingly easy. There is no actual penalty for dying, so you can just technically try over and over and over again. Now, to make it harder, you can, I guess, put on the more difficult level. What was it, like 1999 or something? That when you die, you lose a lot of money, and then if you lose a lot of money, the game just crashes and boots you out. I probably should have played on that, shouldn't I have? Huh. Anyways, hey, now I know it's possible if you want to try it out yourself. So, have a good day. See you next time.
Welcome to Reach.